Being on this trip to El Salvador has been an amazing experience. I gained a better understanding of how appreciative they are of their education. I know that I may take my education for granted from time to time, but these people have shown me what it is like to follow a goal or a dream with unwavering dedication.
The first woman we talked to was especially intelligent. Her eyes shone bright behind wrinkled skin. She was wise, articulate, and dedicated. She explained a life of freedom, the basic things that words would bring her, the ability to navigate, to get on the proper bus, the pride of signing her name. I ironically, though, could not find the words, and instead happily listened as she described to her family that helps her in her quest. With 5 grandchildren, 3 kids, and obvious dedication, I felt faith that she'll make it through. I felt excited and hopeful for a future when words will have the opportunity to become more for her than basic freedom, but a means for knowledge, exploration, and growth.
Marley is 34 years old, a mother, and married. This was her second day in the Learning Circle class. She was practicing the letters of her name over and over. 1 full page with M's, 1 full page of A's, another page of R's. She learned 3 of the letters in her name.
I asked her why she was taking this class. She said she wanted to read her Bible and songbook and sing the hymns. And she held her book up to her chest. It meant so much to her. We drove on the bus about 30-45 minutes, arriving on a little alleyway street. We had to walk about 5 minutes up the hill to our first school. The students were sitting around the tables under a bamboo shade outside the home.
What impressed me the most at first was the number of people attending. If churches in America offer any kind of class, religious or non-religious, you can expect a small gathering. But there were so many people coming to this program. Even more amazing was how so many people would work together for the good of others. One person would offer their home, another would teach. Advanced students would help the beginners. Older children would care for the young. Everyone had a part to play. I believe that this is why this program is so successful.
The youngest person I talked to was 13 and the oldest was 64. Both of them were filled with joy and gladness to know that someone cared for them enough to invest time and money to share with them the precious gift of literacy.
The literacy class participants were so humble, so appreciative, and very kind. They sat through the classes very attentive, not at the least bit distracted by the 30 people or so that were staring at them.
The students there are in groups based on their level. Each group is a mini community that works together, and they support each other with the help and encouragement of one another. It sounds so much like the Christian life. The first group of women, ages about 50 to 60, were studying world geography. As they looked at the world through a book, the world became an open book. Learning has given them a hunger to want to know more. They thank God even more now because more knowledge gives them more things to thank God for. It gives them more understanding about the things around them. They know they could have never made it this far without God's strength and provision for them through others. And now they want to understand more how they can be a provision for others through themselves.
I can't say enough about the teachers and their dedication. They are a true example of God's use of ordinary people to do extraordinary things. God can and will use anyone who's willing. The more deficient you may feel, the more glory goes to God because it's all about Him. These teachers are truly doing the work of Christ while preparing thousands of others to do the same.
One young teen boy was learning to read so he could get a better job. One older woman wanted to learn to read so that she could read the traffic signs and know where she was going, before people would trick her and give her incorrect directions as a joke. An older woman was so proud that she could write her name when she went to the bank. Before, she had to put her thumb in ink and use a finger mark instead. An ink-stained thumb shows how poor and uneducated a person is. It is a mark of shame, but now her fingers are clean.
People were so grateful and excited about us being there. I tried explaining that we were the privileged ones for meeting people so dedicated and determined like them. But they kept saying, "Thank you, thank you." One lady told us that nobody will come to care for them, but that we came and we care for people like them. People who are stuck in one place. In our world, we tend to want to progress and do good things in school and graduate from colleges to show others I made it. But her, no one important will ever know she learned how to read or write. But God will know and will definitely reward her through the power of His Word, and that is what really matters.
Many had their personal reasons for wanting to learn. For several, it was for a better life, for jobs, to read a newspaper. But for many, they were there to experience the joy of writing their name for the first time. I saw the tears flowing from the eyes of men and women, and I realized that they were there for more than to read a newspaper or to catch a bus, but they were there for hope.
It was almost embarrassing for me when we were talking to a lady and we asked her how much she could read and write. She said that she could read and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It wasn't because of her limited writing and reading ability, but because she was so proud of the fact that she could write these 5 things and read them. It makes me almost ashamed to say that of my 15 years of education, those 5 things, she was more proud of it than I was of mine.
She said her biggest motivation was to improve her life, both financially and spiritually. As I saw her work, it could have easily been mistaken for that of a child, but nonetheless, she continued to learn and practice, forming her letters, and that change was reflected as I flipped through the pages. I asked her if she had help, and she said her grandchild would help her after school, that he would take her hand and help her form the letters and words. It was as if the roles had changed. He would be the one reminding her to do her homework and helped her with her work. I admired her courage and her motivation to take up schooling at her age, and with the help of this program, I am sure that she will succeed.
As I walked into the church, I noticed an old man sitting on a bucket in the middle of the aisle. His name was Victorano. He is about 74 years old. He had a deep story, rich in history, sad and yet victorious. But his favorite joy was when he showed us his keys to the church. He was the deacon, and he so much wanted to read for himself his precious Bible. Wally paraphrased it best by saying, "Isn't it amazing that he had the keys to the church, but he didn't have the keys to the Bible until he finished the class."
It was time for our group to leave the learning circle. We formed a circle around the students. I was sitting next to the old man, so he held my hand while we prayed. His hand was not smooth, but strong and tough, like he had worked with his hands every day of his life. I felt respect for this old man. He was so proud of finally being able to read his Bible and study his Sabbath school lessons. After the prayer, he was crying, tears coming down his face. I don't think that he was sad. He was captured in a moment of relief and blessing. He reminded me of my father. He was dedicated to learning, his church, and continuing his classes. Old age was not devastating or hopeless for this old man. This old man found freedom and life.
I was so impressed with the teachers. I was so impressed with the students. We take for granted our education. And here, to watch a little old lady write her name the very first time was so exciting to me. And I pray for these people. They mean so much to me now.
What I have found to be most impacting to me is the amount of dedication and sacrifice that each one of these literacy circles represents. Without a doubt, God is touching people's lives and has many of His workers sacrificing themselves to help others. This project will be on my mind for years to come, and I hope to be able to inspire many others to donate to this cause so that many more may be blessed with the gift of knowledge.
I saw Jesus today. Not in a vision, but in a gathering of strangers. People who are separated by distance, culture, and circumstances, coming together to draw strength from one another. My desire was to encourage some of the teachers from El Salvador with some kind words and a smile. While I'm sure that my efforts were successful, I was far more encouraged by them than I'm sure they were by me. These teachers have so little compared to me, and yet their commitment to our mutual Savior has given them a rich ministry in satisfying life. May we all be as blessed as these.